Baby, you know what time it is.
I think I have an idea.
It's Studio Johnny Q time.
That was my idea.
That means it is time to drop your nerd drawers, baby.
Also in line with
I
what
don't
I
know
was
exactly
thinking.
what that means, but I'm sure it's sexy.
It sounds sexy.
Baby.
Hey, wait, no, we're moving on, Smoothie. Thank you for that, though. Hail and well met, fellow time travelers. I am Johnny Q here again in the undersea lair that is Studio Johnny Q. It is Thursday, which means that we have hopefully Randy with us on the Computron. Randy,
Hello.
Yay! There we go. We have that. So Randy will be joining us as we get our thing on today. Let's take a switch our cameras here. A descent upon our workspace, if we might. I'll do a little swoopy swappy. Turn a couple lights on. How you doing today, my brother?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. Did you get any sleep? I know you've been having some sleep issues.
Yeah, like here and there.
Good.
Got it in a few chunks of several hours.
Yeah. All right. Oh, sorry. I was trying to get some stuff off the floor. Some garbage. There we go. Yeah, I've gotten some sleep too. So this will be a rare episode where both Randy and I have had a semi-decent amount of sleep. Then we got our M50.
Well, I said I got some sleep. I didn't speak to my level of consciousness.
Fair enough. I may have spoke too soon. That happens sometimes. All right. Well, I checked and the M50 was working earlier, so it's been a little persnickety. I know it's hard to imagine. Unplug it. I think it's actually Streamlabs that's fussing with it, so let me make sure that I'm getting a signal to the Elgato cam link, which we are. So yeah, it means that it's just fussing within Streamlabs. So why don't we go ahead and we'll take a look here, Randy, at our topics for today. Yeah, our topics. We're gonna have our little topics. Our titular moment. One of the things that we had in here was TV talk. We're working on tiles, but it's TV talk. I thought today we would just talk about some television stuff. I'm starting to watch the second season of Dark in preparation of the season 3, which is out. But I wanted to watch season 2 again. And I thought maybe we could talk about some of our favorite shows and some of our favorite cartoons and favorite TV moments. So that's just kind of the rough theme today. It's just TV talk. Our mental health minute. The teaser for that is inventory without judgment. I probably spelled judgment wrong because I always spell judgment wrong. Our first 50, we got another follower yesterday, so we are 33 to 50. So we're always saying that's our dirty little secret is that the first 50 we'll never mention it again, but they'll know that they get a little extra love. We can talk about movie night. We had our remote movie night last night, so we can talk about that. Is that you, Coop? I think Coop is trying to budge in through the door here. And games. We've been playing Rocket League, so we have Rocket League to talk about. And like I said, we've got miles and miles and piles of tiles to work on, as we can see here. That's what we've been working on lately. Going well. And then also, I have gotten to spend some more time doing some video edits. And I'll just pull that up real super quick to show you. You're able to look at the monitor, Randy?
Yep.
Let me see here. Oh, I can't show you because I'll have to pull up the DaVinci and I don't want to pull up the resources. I'll take a screenshot. I'm gonna post it on Instagram of all the cuts that I've made. So right now, and of the video edit, Randy, I've made all the cuts of all the silences out. I got those all removed, which is a lot of work. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that there is some ways to do this manual or automatically, programmatically. But the first time I kind of wanted to do it manual just to get a feel for it. But next time I'm definitely looking for some. I know that there's going to be some shortcuts on how to handle this, so we'll be looking into that. But I've removed all.
That any automatic process is probably not 100% infallible.
Yeah, the problem is one of the reasons why I didn't do it that way is that I may want a video portion, so you might cut out the silence, but that I may want the corresponding video portion to that. And I'd rather there be a few cuts. So what I'm doing is like I'm taking like a chunk, I'm cutting out all the silence, and then I'm kind of figuring out what to do with that video segment. Do I want to kind of maybe load it towards it's mostly the front end of the video segment, mostly the last, maybe the middle, or maybe a couple of chunks where I've just edited out some dead visual air kind of thing. So that's kind of the stuff that we're working with now. And kind of my first time to do this. I mean, we've done some other video editing, but I never kind of done something where, hey, this is something that we did live 2 hours and let me try to edit it down. So get my learn on, but it's going good. So I have edited out all the silences, and I'm part of the way through of compacting the video footage to match a condensed, audio version. So, what I'm doing is I'm going through cutting out the silences, seeing what I'm saying in the audio, figuring out what I want to keep in the audio, and then making sure that the visual informs that audio that we're keeping. So that's kind of the technique that I roughly developed, which I did not have a week ago. I didn't know how the hell I was going to approach it a week ago. So that's why I'm sharing it now, because it's as much a revelation to me as anything. But so I think that's our topics for today. I am going to get into all of our crafts before we get, I guess, topical. Kind of the techniques. I'll do a review of where we're at of our tiles here. And let me go ahead and get the M50 fixed for this. But we basically, cut all of our dollar store foam. We had done it in, I think they were 10 by 10 sheets. We had, within those 10 by 10 sheets, come up with some various different sizes. But while we still had them on there, we used a T-square to kind of add our board lines in. We then had to manually do the cross ends of all the boards. We used a wire brush to add texture. And then on the back side, we used a cobblestone roller. And just so that we would have, something that would be different on the backside, just to give it some extra utility. So then we covered it all in the Mod Podge, because that's what we've been instructed to do, and it works well. And then we did some base coats. And then we tried to, with the wood, after we had it, wanted to try to get some more striation in the wood. So, if you look at these big pieces here, you can see it's not just one whole thing of brown. You're getting some different colors in here. We also had put washes on this. Yeah, washes on on this and on this as well. I think the next step for this is actually to use more wash, because I need to kind of, see again what lines we have here. And the question is just whether or not I want to do a highlight before that. So I might do another highlight level on all of these, and then do a wash, and then see what we have from there. And then dry brush these guys, and they'll probably get another wash as well. So I think that's the techniques that we're looking to employ as we prattle on, my friend. So with that,
Those are looking tasty.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm really happy with what we're going into. These were the pieces that we started with, and I like these, but there was things I didn't like about these, and I'm trying to address that with these. Especially more with getting some more of the striation in the wood. But I still like these, and they're going to get used a ton, and they may actually get hit again now that to match up a little bit better with these other ones once I kind of see how these finish out. But there's something wet there. I was not anticipating there being anything wet here. The studio is moist in anticipation, Randy.
Unsubscribe. I'm just kidding. I actually don't have a problem with that word. I think it serves its purpose very well. I mean, it's essential for baked goods as far as I'm...
I had it is. It's a word that you need. It's just not out. You're not just saying it out of vainglory. You have purpose behind that, right? Because that's how you want the product. You want your muffins to end up moist.
Yes. It has suffered an unfortunate misuse, I believe. The word point.
Yes, and with that we will move on. I was going to say something about the movie night. It'll come back to me. So yeah, let me go ahead and I think I am going to put a highlight on these. And maybe I'll do the same thing on maybe I'll do an initial paint on the back side and then hit both of these all with a wash. I like that idea. So okay, so we have stuff in line there. There was something I wanted to say about maybe man, it just really is throwing me. So yeah, if nothing else, we'll move on to TV talk as I kind of get prepared to get the craft on. Unless you had anything you wanted to intercede with first, my friend?
Nothing in particular. I've been watching quite a few. But...
You've been watching quite a few. Sorry, you cut out. You said you were watching quite a few, and that's where it cut out.
Oh, quite a few YouTube videos.
Still the same usual culprits, the kind of the same channels, or are you finding anything new that you're...
much. The SciShow, they have several channels, I guess, actually. They got SciShow Space. Very...
I need to start looking at some of those.
That's a good one. There's a couple of new ones I came across that I'm dubious of.
When you...
How valid they are.
When you hit your, like your home channel on YouTube, like... What are the things channels that it shows you? Because it's like, there's like, right now I get a lot of guitar stuff. Mine's a mix of guitar stuff and like miniature D&D stuff. And some esoteric stuff like Alan Watts and things like that. Yeah, well, now some ASMR. I've been listening to ASMR. So now some ASMR stuff as well. When you pull it up, what is it that it's showing you? Obviously, it seems like it's showing you kind of some science-based channels.
Yeah,
what else?
Trivia-based, a lot of trivia stuff, a lot of science stuff, learning stuff. And then, actually, there's a channel called, I guess it's probably pronounced Cinefix.
Okay, yeah.
It's like things you didn't know about various movies.
Oh, cool.
It's been pretty interesting.
Yeah, that could be neat. Anything with that you feel like it would ruin something? Because I had to force myself to not look at IMDb's continuity errors listings because you can't.
The ones that are like
you can't unsee that stuff.
Yeah, I avoid the ones that are like, here's everything that's wrong with this movie.
Yeah,
and shit like that.
Okay,
I
good.
look at the ones that are like, cool stuff about behind the scenes stuff you didn't know about it coming together, production value.
It's like there's that really good YouTube channel, How It Should Have Ended, and it's animated versions of like movies, popular movies, and how the movie really should have ended. And they're done really well. They're really clever. I really like the Harry Potter one. I really like one of the Spider-Man ones that I saw. The Hobbit one is really good, or Lord of the Rings one. But I had to stop watching it because it's like it made me think critically about these movies that I really like. And it's like, why do you need to do that? You have something you like. Why do you need to do something that's now going to make you not like that thing? It seems really unhealthy. So I stopped watching those as well. But anyways, keep going. So you say Cinefix, it deals with
other
some...
stuff is just, it deals with different... I think they probably have different series within that channel. This particular one is things you didn't. talks about things you didn't know about the different. One of them was about the labyrinth, really interesting. The other one was about your favorite movies, Lost Boys.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, yes.
You don't think it holds up? I think it was. I watched it recently and found it very enjoyable.
Really? That's funny, man. I really didn't. But then I don't know compared to what I got out at the first time. The first time I thought it was just really cool and funny, and this time I just thought it was just. Yeah, go ahead.
The video mentions that supposedly it was originally a totally different story, and it had to do with a bunch of kids. It's basically based off like Peter Pan, with Peter Pan saying like, here's a bunch of kids, and they're young because they're vampires, and the Frog Brothers were actually vampires as well, and so was Star, and it was another male vampire.
Yeah.
So it was a very different story.
It's a weird movie. It's a weird movie. I mean, like
the flying that they do, the point of view from the vampire flying, where you don't see the vampire, you just see what the vampire sees.
Yeah.
It was like a budget trick, to get around.
Yeah.
Like they had a low budget, so but it works really well. And they're like, oh, this is totally like Alfred Hitchcock. You're not. It's kind of more scary because you don't know what it is.
It's Jaws. Yeah.
And
the reason
the practical flight where you see them flying into for the end.
Yeah, in Jaws, you were supposed to see the shark much earlier, but I guess due to technical issues with the shark, it wasn't available, and it ended up making it much better. Like you're saying, it made it the suspension of it, and that's the problem that we've come into today. Is some of those arts have been lost because we have the ability to show anything, and so you feel like you have to show everything. Because you can show anything, you feel like you have to show everything, and it's like, so it's like, a monster reveal at the very end would be very uncommon for us to see in today's day and age.
Plus, people are so used to being spoon-fed everything now; they don't want to do anything.
Yeah, they don't want to do any heavy lifting with the crates on the creative end. I hear you on that. All right, let me think about what colors I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use
Never-Ending Story. There was an interesting one about that, talking about the actor who played Atreyu. I guess broke his back early on in the production, and was laid up like in traction for. It had to be. I can't imagine your back. They said he healed quickly, but I think it would take longer than 5 weeks. So it must have been 5 months. That still sounds amazing. It was able to heal within 5 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he went back to work. They actually had to. He took quite a bit of a beat, a couple of because of the gruelingness of it. One where he's with a turtle, and he was constantly wet and getting thrown around and stuff. And that was after he had already broken his back, so they had to try to be careful, but. Still.
We'll try to be careful. With my broken back, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Other ones are just the other YouTube videos I've been watching. There's funny stuff, quick clips, compilations of, cute, funny, interesting things. Zorro's good for that. Daily Dose of Internet is good for that. And then a lot of Neebs gaming stuff.
How do you spell their name? Is it
Neebs?
With a V or with a B? Is it Neebs or Neeb?
Neebs, with an N.
Neens? Not the first consonant. I'm looking for the last one. Spell the word for me, I guess.
Neebs.
V as in Victor. That's the one. I couldn't tell if it was V as in Victor or B as in boy.
No, it's a B as in boy.
Check this out, Randy. This is a paint peel off of from the stuff that we was doing down here.
Neebs. Boy.
It is B.
Nice. What is that?
So this was.
Oh, nice. That's
paint,
cool. It looks
paint,
like
paint from here.
yeah, it looks like some really cool metal and stuff that's been through.
Yeah.
Some rust.
Yeah. I'm about to keep this and figure out some way to use it because yeah, that's pretty groovy. now I want to pull up the rest of it and see what the rest of it looks like.
Yeah, man. On a new technique.
Yeah. Well, it's like, a lot of
like that.
Reverse painting is, or painting on glass, or, a lot of animations done like that, right? You kind of paint it backwards. I like how shiny it all is, too. Not exactly sure why that is. All right. Oh, you know what? Some of this might be, too, because it's not just the paint, it's also some of the wash. So some of the qualities of the wash may have gotten in there, too, and that might be part of the... But yeah, I like that it's just like black here in the corner, but we'll pull it up and it probably won't be black on the underside.
One of the things about Labyrinth was that one of their possible choices for Jared ended up played by
Is that Bowie?
Wow. Yeah. By David Bowie. Was Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. It'd be a different movie.
It was Michael Jackson, David Bowie, or one other, I think. Maybe Sting. Probably Sting.
Okay.
Those were the choices because they were all big during that time.
Sure, yeah. Huh. I'm surprised they didn't get Michael Jackson. Seems like that would have been right up his. Yeah, see, this looks like some sort of like gemstone or something, kind of.
Yeah, neat. It looks like a jasper.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
In between the mold joints there. Very good.
That's fun. Our little sushi dish here just keeps giving. Our little grocery store sushi dish. They make really good paint trays, because they got the little rivulets in here, so it's not just a flat surface, and the corners have nice little reservoirs as well. These actually make really nice paint trays. Anyways, all right. So I'm going to do a highlight color, and I think yesterday I was using yellow. I tried using some of the orange, but since this was the kind of the color that I wanted, since everything was such a heavy brown, I ended up having to have to go to yellow to get my orange. Because, you can see through the paints to some degree. So for my highlight color, the yellow won't be bright enough, but I don't want to go quite straight white, so we'll mix some of those up for our highlights, I think. And I watched, been watching on Amazon Prime. I want to watch the second season of Jack Ryan, so I started rewatching the first season of it, and I'm enjoying it. It's dark, so I kind of have to be kind of in the right mind frame for that. But then also, like, if I might watch like an episode of it, and then if I'm still awake, I've been watching Riff Tracks, which is basically Mystery Science Theater guys goofing on movies.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't have like the beginning segments, which are my least favorite part of. I don't like all the segments in between. Just show me the movie. You guys goofing on the movie. That's really all I want. And so that's all that you get. And it's not. They don't show the screen, and you don't have the robots. It's just they show the movie, and it's the three guys goofing on movies. And man, some of the movies that they find, it's just like, who put money on this? I'm certain that there must be a chunk of movies that they're only made because it's like the mafia or somebody is using it as a way to launder money. Because it's like, who is putting all this money towards this? And especially like you'll have like a horrible lead actor, and I'm watching this one, and it's called Pressure Point, and I wish I could show you some. Maybe the next time that you're on a stream where we can show some YouTube videos or something. I'll have to pull up parts of it. because it is horrible. And there's this one that I just got finished watching, and it's called Super Argo. See if you can pull this up. Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. Let's see if we can find a link to that. Maybe we can share.
Oh, it came up pretty quick. I think Super Argo was enough to pull up the full title. It was auto.
Yeah, let's see. And there might have been more than one. So Super Argo. Yeah, and the Faceless Giants.
What do you want me to pull up? A YouTube video or?
No, I'm gonna
page?
pull up the IMDb.
Gotcha.
I'll post it in chat. I have it, so. Yeah, so there's the IMDb of it. And so, yeah, you basically have this guy who wears this red sort of the Phantom wrestling suit. And he has an unknown set of powers that came from an unknown origin. And, like, there's one part where they ask him, so, what's up with the costume? And he's like, I used to be a wrestler, and it brought me luck. And then later on, they're firing guns at him, and he tells his psychic sidekick, because he has a psychic sidekick, who's teaching him how to use his mind powers. He's like, oh, good thing this is bulletproof or whatever. And the riff track guys were like goofing us like, it's bulletproof, and you led with, I used to wrestle and it brought me luck. Next time just say, I wear it because it's bulletproof. And yeah, it's just totally like goofy and bizarre. And so then the Faceless Giants, what happens is that somebody is abducting all of the best athletes from the world and converting them into robots. And they're the Faceless Giants, which, hashtag spoilers, totally have faces. It makes no sense. Which they goof on several times. It's like they totally have faces. And that's your master plan.
I wonder if that was the thing where with translation, like
maybe it would. Yeah, yeah.
Translation.
Yeah, I wonder if faceless means like their face is dead, because it's like they do have like a dead face, and so maybe that sounds right. And I think because I do think like maybe it's Italian or something like that, so it is this weird dubbed thing going on. But yeah, it's fun just to watch just how bad it is, but it's just like. Okay, and then what's the one that was the one I started on, and then the other one I watched was. Let's see if
I want to give a shout out to Carol. Carol's on.
Oh,
posted
hey, Carol.
on YouTube. Said, hello to my favorite guys, and said that the peel is really cool.
Thanks. Let me see here on this one. I think it's called Pressure Points. Which there's been a lot of movies, of course, named Pressure Points. Yeah. I think it's the guy who is the lead in this movie.
Uh-huh.
His name is Sebastian Delacourt. Sure it is. He doesn't even have a picture in the thumbnail in the cast listing. He's the lead. But I'm trying to see if I can get a picture of who he. I can't even get a picture of what he looks like.
There's a couple different pictures here from the show, showing in his costume. One's a half mask, and the other is like a full mask. Almost looks like somebody gave him a facial with one of those black peeling facial masks.
Oh yeah. You're still talking about Super Argo. I've moved on.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, yeah. It is weird. Yeah, it's like he's wearing a red outfit with the black. And I think like if you think about the Phantom from like the comics, like the Sunday Funnies, I think that's like his outfit.
I thought of one.
Yeah, because it's all purple with a black mask, and I guess that maybe that's a wrestler outfit. I just didn't know that's what that was, but I guess that's what that is. So yeah, the movie I'm watching now though is called Pressure Point. This says it's from '97, and oh man, this is horrible. This movie is so bad. I'm trying to see if there's any pictures or anything from it. I don't know that there is.
Oh, Jax.
I will just throw it up here though. But yeah, the riff tracks, they're fun. They're fun to watch. So
Pressure Point, 1962?
No, this is the 97 one. And I know it because I remember his goof-ass name, Sebastian Delacourt, where it's like, yeah, sure, you are. He looks like if... do you know who Sylvester Stallone's brother Frank is?
No.
Okay, so there's a Sylvester Stallone. He has a brother, right? And his brother's Frank. So he looks like if you made a copy of a copy of a copy of Stallone, you get Frank.
I see. Yep.
And then
That's
if
hilarious.
you took Cage and you made a copy of him, a copy of him, a copy of him. So it's like, yeah, it's their love child between the two of those, Frank Stallone and Cage.
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. It's not a good look. And it's like he's got this weird balding pattern, and it's like there's one point where like they just head him, it's like a head down, and it's like who would? This is the most unflattering angle on this person that you're supposed to be your hero. It's just like, what are you gonna do? Shoot up his nostrils next? But yeah, they're funny, very, very, very funny. All right, I need to work on some of these. I also need to get a glove. But yeah, so I've been watching those.
What year did you say it was?
I think it's 97, which is surprising to me. I thought it would have been an earlier movie than that. It's got all the cheese of a... But I mean, I guess my thing is like, what is the intent when they make a movie like that, right? And this is where my thoughts about money laundering come in. They're just a device to money laundering. Because I mean, you're not going
the thing that's happened before.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory or an actual fact.
Just,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, you could see it. Yeah.
Because it's like, what are you hoping to do here? You're not going to release this in a theater and it's going to make any money because you can't even make a good poster with that crap or trailer. And so it's like, okay, so is it direct to DVD? Is this direct to cable? It's like, who's buying it? Where is this getting aired?
It's not even. Look what you create an LLC as a movie
Production company,
and then you hire a bunch of people as producers and pay them a shit ton of money, and then go bankrupt, so they get the money. The government put the bill for the bank. Is that how that works? Like, what the...
Yeah, but the thing is, too, is like there's finished product here, right? So I guess if you just wanted to launder the money, then you wouldn't even have to do it. But I guess maybe you need to do the finished product to keep up the appearance. I don't know. It's baffling. It doesn't make any sense to me that there would be as much money as it costs. Who keeps making all these bad movies? I mean, they're bad. This isn't Island of Dr. Moreau, right? Where you can understand why somebody took that pitch, right? And it just happened to end up kind of, plane crashing along the way. I mean, there is no part of this where someone's like, "This is gold." So I don't know. All right, working on our highlight here. Gentle here at first, trying to figure out how wet we need our paint to be.
Did you find a picture of the guy you were talking?
No, I couldn't. I mean,
okay.
Not on IMDb. Let me see if I can.
The picture of...
Let me see if I can pull it.
I see what you mean. I assume that he was in Jekyll Island as well, and there's like a...
Okay.
Yeah,
let me see if I can find Sebastian. I had to for the internet to bring him up. I had to type Sebastian Deluxe before it would even suggest him. Delacourt. Right. Images. Yeah, here you go. If you look up Sebastian Delacourt, there we go. Riff Tracks page has a good one. I think Riff Tracks, I think they make some of their own movie posters. Like, that is way better than whatever their actual movie poster was. And I think that they have somebody goes through and recreates these.
Crushing a can of Diet Coke, like what the...
That was in there. There was a thing where he beats somebody with cans of Diet Coke and then gives somebody one that's like empty. That's why that's in there, yeah. What's up, Mr. Mustard? Good to see you, brother.
What's up, Mustard?
We're talking TV. We got TV talk going on right now. And I've been talking about that I've been watching Riff Tracks, which is essentially Mystery Science Theater without the skits. It's just the three guys goofing on movies. And there's two movies I've been watched. One of them is called Super Argo and The Faceless Giants. And then the other one was called, and here you can see a difference between pre and after. Yeah, and The Faceless Giants, and this other one is called Pressure Point. That has who I think it might be one of the worst leads ever in a movie. They have a scene where that guy has to tromp through the snow, and he looks about as gracious as you think a person could be, tromping through thigh-high snow. I don't know. It's just a really weird movie, man. It's just odd. It's just really weird. Okay. And these I'm going to frost a little more than I would want, because I'm going to hit these, I think, with a wash afterwards. So these can get a little frosty. Let's keep it frosty.
What was the actor's name in 50 Shades of Grey movie?
I don't know. I know that they did movies of those, but I don't know who that is. I don't know who the male or the female.
Jamie Dornan. He was talking about there's a scene where they're on the beach, and he had to like walk out of the water onto the beach toward her, I guess. And he was saying it was a pebble beach, so it was really like I was walking. I was really uneven. Plus, he's really self-conscious about the way he walks. Anyway, thinks he walks funny. So they ended up like I think having to put like planks down or something for him to be able to walk on and just shoot him from the like not show his feet.
It's funny. I think
so it looked like he was just walking smoothly on the beach.
Yeah, it's funny how I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on like that where they have actors that are at different heights and they don't want you to know that, And
I've heard that about X-Men, where like Wolverine.
Yeah, because Hugh Jackman's pretty short.
Shorter than, so there's been a couple of times where they've mentioned different actors had to like stand in a pit or on a box or something during different.
Yeah, you'll get that, which is interesting.
Colonel said he enjoyed Mystery Science Theater, the movie. Pretty funny.
Yeah, and they had to do that a ton in Lord of the Rings. Because, they had to do all kinds of crazy stuff in Lord of the Rings because they had to make it seem like Gandalf's a giant compared to Elijah Wood. Force perspective.
They said they shot them. Yeah, they did a lot of force perspective stuff.
They used all the tricks. They had doubles. They had doubles that had computer printed face masks. So, like, I know the scene where Frodo jumps into the wagon. That's actually one of the small people. And then, like, some of the shots where they're in the boats, those are some of the small people. And, like, when they're on a horse, if it's a human with a halfling on a horse, that usually at times that was somebody wearing a face mask. And actually, the guy who we've talked about, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the remake, how they had the one guy that they just digitally cloned to be all the Oompa Loompas. Mm-hmm. He's one of them. I think he was Frodo. I think he was a miniature version of Frodo, and he's in a ton of things.
Oh wow!
Because it was mainly CGI. Yeah, I could see that. Well, I don't know, not to like. We endorse not to hate but to create here, but I can understand. The Hobbit made Ian cry. I cannot take this. This will not pass. This movie will not pass. Mustard. Ooh, see what I did there? Didn't pass mustard. Because mustard said it. Anyways. Thanks for everybody who's giving us your time and your attention today. As we're talking TV. You know, and I thought those might be, some of those movies might be fun to do in our remote movie night too. One of those. That's very clever.
Mustard said The Hobbit made it, Ian.
Correct. That's when I started to do my "It shall not pass" mustard joke.
That's very good.
Yep, no, I hear you. Wasn't a critique.
He said, how's that working for you, being clever?
How's that working for you, being clever? What's that from? That's from something. Is that, That's not Tony Stark to Spider-Man, is it? How's it working for you, being clever? Fight Club. How's that working for you? I gotta watch that one again. I'm overdue for a Fight Club. How's that working for you? Tommy was a maitre d' down at local. He couldn't remember his own name, but in the pit, he was a god. It's all on the plane when the main character is explaining to Tyler. So where they has to make the decision of whether you go crotch first or ass first. Or, you know. Do you put the crotch in the face or you put the ass in the face? Randy, do you have a feeling on this?
What's the context?
Okay, so we were talking about Fight Club, and we were talking about something in Fight Club, but they're on a plane, and he's talking about when you have to scoot next to somebody. You have to go crotch first. You have to go ass first. Do you have a preference?
A preference for somebody doing it to me, or how I do it to other people?
What would you be? Do you have a go-to? Or is it situational?
Most of the time, I think it's situational, but most of the times I think it ends up being... I'm not sure now. I'm trying to remember how I've done it. But it's always awkward. It always feels awkward. Hopefully there's no one there that you have to with. Or it's a friend, or...
where you're not feeling gassy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's definitely situational.
I like to crotch thrust.
They vary depending on all the variables involved.
That's nice. So Colonel Mustard said he likes to crotch thrust as he passes. So not just, he likes to go crotch first, but then you just kind of give him a little, little, hey, this is what you, made you flinch. That's two for flinching.
It's like a movie or a music video or something, or a skit, I can't remember, where somebody like crotch thrust and he makes the women faint.
It's Austin Powers.
Yeah.
He does it to the fembots, I think. I think he makes the fembots with his crotch thrusts. That's funny. Which, maybe that's a good time to talk about movie night, right? Mike Myers' vehicle, Austin Powers. We weren't able to do our D&D, so we did movie night. You guys said both of you hadn't seen the movie in quite a long time. We watched So I Married an Axe Murderer. I think a very funny movie by Mr. Mike Myers. I think this is an undergo. You've only seen Austin Powers movie maybe once. Wow. Huh. Yeah, I've seen that one a ton. I've seen the first one a lot. I've seen the second one quite a bit. I've never seen the third one, although I own it.
The best one, the first one,
is the best.
It starts to get old.
Yeah. Also, I was not a fan of the female that they had in the the second one. She's horrible.
Roller Girl?
Yeah, Roller Girl. Was not. It's like she's laughing through the whole movie. You do realize you're an actress, right? You're not supposed to be laughing at the jokes here.
Have you seen any of those the nature videos on BBC Earth where they have the robot and that are observing amidst of the other? Sorry,
you were breaking up. Did you say robot ant?
Robot animal.
Animal.
The nature shows that have the spy animals.
No.
It looks like really, I mean, it's a really good replica of the animal. Like the way it moves is amazing.
This is just, I think, a premise to establish POV animal porn.
They could probably do that.
Because some of them poor cameras have probably been attacked.
A very small niche of individuals that would be up to that.
But I'm serious. I bet you some of those cameras have probably been attacked.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, if dogs will go for a leg, I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah.
All right. So no, I'm not familiar with this, but it makes sense. So they're not just a decoy. I mean, I old school. What you could just have a decoy, but this isn't a decoy. This is actually robotic, so
this is a robot.
I mean, this is full on.
Where
are we? Where are we in the uncanny valley? I mean, would you be fooled by these? Would this pass the Turing's test or whatever it's called for you? Just on sight. I mean, do they move? Would you like that's wonky?
Yeah, that's a good point. If you didn't already know, and you just happened to cross it from a distance, then you would probably assume that it was real.
Yeah, like you saw this thing crossing the street at I don't know, a block away, or half a block away, or a quarter block away, a couple houses down. You think what kind of creatures are we talking about here?
I've seen it. I think I've seen it with a baby hippo.
My gosh, a baby hippo. I'm thinking something like a marmot. No, they've got it. No, let's just do. Why don't we start? We'll do a hippo. Well, we got to create a submarine for that. Yeah, let's start with the hippo.
They did a chimp. There was a chimp.
Oh, cheesy peasy, man. Yeah, I would
had a turtle.
Okay, yeah. I would have started with turtle. The next I would have went with armadillo, and yeah, I would have. I would have started with hippo.
This last one I saw was a squirrel.
Squirrel.
And they had, I think it had its own camera within it, but it also had a nut that had a camera. So it enticed the squirrel to come and take the nut because they were noticing that at least 2%, if not more, somewhere between 2 and 12%. I think I can't quite as much. But, were they instead of foraging for their nuts, they just stole them. So they'd watch. Well, first off, I guess apparently a squirrel can hide up to 4,000 nuts in a season.
Whoa! And
they're able to remember where 1,000 of them. It may be higher. Maybe I can't remember. It may be 10,000, and they're able to find 4,000. It was crazy. Regardless, they said that their portion of their brain that deals with memory actually expands by, I think they said 20% during that time to help them remember where all these nuts are.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
But a small portion of them, instead of foraging, they just watch the others, and will go and steal wherever they bury their nuts. They'll just go and dig them. But if they get caught, then there's a big fight. They had one where somebody had stolen one of the squirrel's nuts and got caught, and they had a fight. And then the squirrel that originally dug the nut won. And
this sounds like this sounds remarkably like an episode of Maury Povich.
So the squirrel that had originally buried the nut and then won the fight got the nut back and went to bury it again, and the other squirrel was just watching him again. So
and then that squirrel comes over and hits the other squirrel with one of the chairs.
No, squirrels are very cunning. So when he buried the nut the second time, he was totally acting.
He buried a fake nut?
No, he didn't hide any nut. He just overacted the scene and made it look like he was doing a really good job of hiding this nut, when in fact he was totally acting to fool the other squirrel. So then he went off after burying this nut, and the other squirrel came and tried to find the nut, and it wasn't there because he had taken it with him, and he was sitting there watching the other like, haha.
He straight up quinned him from Guardians of the Galaxy with the Infinity Stone. Nice. Huh. Cunning. That is cunning. That is well said.
There's another one I've been watching that it's from Top 10 channel, which most of the ones I've seen are done with the guy from Vox, Vsauce.
Oh yeah, Michael something.
Which his act.
You're breaking up a little bit, brother. In fact, I think we might have lost you. I'm not hearing anything, so we'll give Randy a second to jump off the Discord and hop back on. All right. I'm going to mix up some more of this collar. I think this is doing pretty good for us. I mean, you can see this is one before, this is one after. These aren't bad just as they are right here. So, but I think I'm going to hit these with a wash. But we're just going to keep moving along. And with going with our TV talk here, make sure actually it's not my headset that's died. I started watching last night the second season of Dark because I want to watch the third season. I couldn't decide if I wanted to rewatch the first season or not, but I started with the second season. I think that was a good call. And I'm watching it with the German audio with English subtitles. There he goes. That's Randy dropping off the Discord. We'll hear him jump back on here in a second. Ba-ding! There we are.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. So you were talking about Michael from Vsauce, and you said,
"Oh,
no, I don't know what you were just talking about, Michael from Vsauce."
Oh, it's sometimes his accent seems like it's over the top, like put on.
And what kind of accent? I didn't realize he had an accent. English? British?
Maybe there's more than one that does Vsauce.
Oh, maybe.
Because I'm talking about the channel, not necessarily the proof.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about the guy who we saw that performed with Adam Savage.
This is a different guy. It looks very similar.
I'm talking about the guy that we were watching the video where he put himself in solitary confinement.
Wow, it looks like him, but it's a different guy. Because this guy has a distinct accent.
Okay.
Like,
we watched the whole show with that guy. I'm like, I don't remember him having that, like not like an English accent. Or it's like maybe he had like a regional American accent or something, but.
Huh.
But then
all right, I'm really confused now because they look almost exactly the same.
Look,
not exactly.
Maybe he turned into Madonna, right? Didn't they say like she developed an English accent?
So it is put on. It is a put on accent. What the hell? That's crazy. Okay. Anyway, so this one was like top 10 weird cities or something like that, and he was talking about one that where the city had agreed as a publicity stunt for the Smurfs movie to paint all of their houses blue, with the caveat that they would then be painted. The studio would pay to have them painted back whatever color they chose, the owner chose, when that was over. But they decided, because they got so much tourism because of this, that they decided to keep all their houses blue.
That's crazy.
So yeah, and it just happens that they're also like known for their mushrooms and stuff. So that kind of tied in with the
Smurfs house.
Yeah.
That was the Smurf song, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Do you remember what Gargamel's cat was named, Randy?
Azrael.
Nice. Alright. So I was saying while you were rejoining that, I just started watching the second season of Dark. I couldn't decide if I wanted to rewatch the first season or not, but the third season just came out, and I don't think I'm going to wait that long to watch it. So I decided to go with the second season, since I rewatched the first season when the second season came out. So, and I think that's a good call, because it's, like I say, it's a time travel-y show, and you deal with people from the same people, but from different time zones. And I think rewatching it, it's just not, you're like, oh, okay, and you're trying to figure out some of this stuff. It's like, now who is this? Because it deals with there must be a cast of 30 people in it or something ridiculous.
Oh wow.
And it was just like, who are you? And it was like, oh, you're related. I forgot you were even related. Okay. And
said that one is subtitled, right?
You can do it however you want to do it. Yeah, you can. I was mentioning this to Mustard, because he said that his wife, I think, was trying to encourage him to watch it as well. But you can do it with English subtitles. You can do it with English dubs. Excuse me. But I don't recommend doing it with dubs and subtitles, because the subtitles and the dubs don't match.
Gotcha.
And that's what I originally was doing, and that wasn't working. So now I just do it with I believe it's German. Yeah, it is German. Did you say something?
Did you ever watch the third season of was it Dragon Prince?
No, I have not. I'm actually in the second season, I think, of Dragon Prince. I think I'm at the start of the second season. I think it got buried on my recommendation list, I was thinking about it the other day, though, because somebody that hopped in the chat was talking about Matt Mercer, and I think he's the dark human sorcerer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's his. I think that's him. I think he does the voice for him. He does a ton of voice work in cartoons and computer games. But he's so good that it's like, I think that's him, but he's just so good at doing subtle differences to his voice that helps mask it. But anyways, let's see here. Keep on with our
This says, let's see, www.behindthevoiceactors.com. Matthew Mercer, 352 character.
I ruined it I was playing a game. It's this turn-based game. I can't even remember what the name of it is, on the Switch. And the guy, I think Sam, I think is his name. He plays the Bard in season 1. And he plays this annoying character who's like a penguin or something, and he keeps saying some annoying word, it's kind of like a snarf type of character where they just keep saying the same word, choop choop, choop choop, and it's him, and it's just like, this would be better if I didn't notice this was you. If this was just a faceless person, this would be a lot easier. But hey, hello, jup jup. But those guys are I mean, they're really, really good and talented, and it is funny that you can find a video if you find any one of those guys, and it'll be like, oh, these are all the different voices that they've done. You'll hear Mark Hamill a lot too. We were watching something the other day, and I recognized it. I was like, I think that's Mark Hamill. Famous for his Joker. He does the Joker in the DC Comics, but he does a ton of other stuff beyond that. Let me see here. You still with us, Randy?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. So I'm watching that second season of Dark, and man, yeah, it is good. I highly recommend it. What's funny though is I saw that it was like actually, Netflix has that thing where it shows you like their top 10, and I think it was like number 9. Kind of surprised me, but also not surprising because it is so good. Yeah, these are coming out pretty groovy. All right. And then, Randy, if you had to pick one TV show, you could have it on Blu-ray or whatever, right? Your Desert Island. One TV series. What's you take?
I don't know. I hate these questions.
Do you have any contenders? Any top contenders? I mean, I'm not going to actually hold you to it.
One TV series that I could take.
Yeah, so like my vote, I think, would probably be for Star Trek Next Generation, because I enjoy it so much and because of the length of it. Right, there's so many episodes. Like you wouldn't want to pick like Sherlock or something like that because So that was one of the things that when I started to think about this question, I was like, well, I'd want something. I wouldn't take Firefly because there was only 13 episodes. As good as it is, it can't be a contender. But you could take something like
what's something that's had the longest run?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could take The Simpsons. The Simpsons has got like 30 some seasons or something ridiculous. So, and I guess you couldn't do.
Debbie Does Dallas seasons 1 through 3.
Yeah, we're not talking about movies though, but we will get to that, so you can hold on to that. Nice, thank you for that. And let me see here. Yeah, but then I don't know. I guess you'd have to make some sort of concession, probably for Doctor Who, right? Maybe the thing.
Why? How so?
Well, because I mean, Doctor Who is, I think, the longest running TV program of all time. But it did have a break, so does that count as, like, when they came back with Eggleston, does that still count as the same series, or is that or is it, would we count each series as a break in the Doctors, or, you know what I mean? So Doctor Who might be, especially depending on how you do it.
Yeah, it's just going to depend on how, if there's any rule set in place, those rules are. But yeah, there's definitely an argument for breaking it up.
But even if you did, like, even if you broke it up, just the new Who, if you will, the new Who review coming right at you. Even that, would be a contender because, I mean, you'd have all the Tennant, all the Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, the new Doctor. That would be. Maybe something good to take too would be something that's like really long that is good, but you've never seen it. Like, what's a show that's really long? Like everybody tells me, like The Wire, right?
What if you end up not liking?
Yeah, exactly. That is true. Did you have, when I was a kid, some of the summers, it seemed to be like when I get caught up on old TV sitcoms, right?
Actually,
we had cable.
An anthology series, right? So it's a different story every episode.
What's that?
An anthology series that you haven't seen.
Oh,
if there's a long-running one of those, so it's a different story every time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea. Mm-hmm. Um, when I was a kid in the summertime, summer vacations, I seems like I'd get caught up on I'd get my learn on about old TV sitcoms. And you watched a fair amount of old TV sitcoms in the day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which ones did you watch?
Like growing up?
Yeah. What old TV sitcoms did you? Like when you were watching them, they were old.
Oh.
Like, I watched Bewitched, for example.
Oh yeah, I love that. Bewitched. There were a lot of those, but I didn't, because we didn't have cable.
Okay, yeah, because I got these on cable.
It was quite late by the time. But yeah, once we had it, access. Although, those.
Yes.
Definitely like that one. The dicks were so annoying.
The who? What?
Her husband.
Oh. You're breaking in and out. I didn't know what show you were talking about, and you just said the dicks were so annoying. Well, yeah, but yeah, Dick Sargent and Dick York, which is weird because there was a movie called Sergeant York. But yeah. Yeah, Dick Sargent and Dick York. Yeah, they were
Up,
the Darrens.
It all ends up being
the Darrens.
Yeah, that's what. Well, it's the Dicks too.
Yeah. Dick Sargent, Dick York. Yeah, you're right.
If you do a Google search for longest running TV shows, it ends up being like
Bonanza.
No, it ends up being. Go back to. That would be the. But so these are the longest running shows of all time. This isn't necessarily most episodes.
Gunsmoke, I know, is the one that.
This is Guiding Light. Is 57.
Oh, I don't count soap operas, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all soap operas.
Yeah.
General Hospital, As the World Turns, Days of Our Lives, and then you got Sesame Street, 51 years. Yeah, Price is Right, 48 years.
Yeah, game shows.
And then back to
Gunsmoke.
Saturday Night Live, 45 years.
Gunsmoke started as a radio TV show, as a radio show, and so if you actually take it. Like, it was one of the longest running programs, especially if you can count its radio years, I guess. I actually listened to some of those on Sirius. They would play old, like, radio shows. And the old Gunsmoke radio serials were fun.
Mr. Rogers was on for 33 years.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, then I think it got to a point, and then they just started redoing them. So he aired for longer than that, I think, but... Let's see here, we're getting close to getting our... So yeah, I'm just trying to think of what some of my favorite old school... I liked Bewitched a lot. Gilligan's Island. I love the hell out of Gilligan's Island.
It says Captain Kangaroo was on for 29.
29 years? Wow.
Yeah, Captain Kangaroo.
No, I was thinking about this the other day. Surprisingly, there was never any bad press come out about Captain Kangaroo, right?
None that I've heard.
There's like no dark underbelly that we've ever heard of. Captain Kangaroo, which I don't know how that's remotely possible. I mean, you look at the man and he looks like he aims to misbehave with that bowl cut and that. He had that Dutch boy haircut. A Dutch boy haircut at like when you're 60 is weird. It's not a good look. It's a hard look to pull off. But yeah, that's.
What about South Park?
Yeah, that's
not an old one, but if you were.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. The same thing. Yeah, with the Simpsons, right? Because it's like, yeah, South Park's been. Yeah. I mean, maybe I didn't say it out loud, but yes, South Park, and there's a ton of those that I haven't seen. So I've seen a bunch of it. I know it's still done by the same people, right? Every time I hop in, it's still like crazy good. So yeah, that could definitely be a contender of one.
There's Gunsmoke, 20 years. Gunsmoke was.
Computer,
Whoa,
how long
Red
was
Skeleton Show was 20 years.
Gunsmoke on the radio?
This might answer your question.
It won't.
Gunsmoke ran from 1955 through 1975. Over the course of the show, there were 9 seasons, and 635 episodes.
635 episodes of Gunsmoke. That's crazy. Yeah, they're good though. They're good episodes. I've watched a handful of them. Good stuff.
It started as a radio series in 52, TV series 55.
Okay, so it ran 3 years as a radio. And that's got, I think it's Dylan. I think the sheriff is Dylan. And I think there's Miss Kitty. And then you've got, like, there's the hill guy. I can't remember what his name is. Like, I literally think it's like Cletus or Jebedias or something like that. He lives in the hills, man, and the people in the hills, they have a different way about doing the things. Can't remember what his name was.
Lassie ran for 19 years.
Wow. And I'm going to ask you of a favor right now, is to please do not bring up Empty Nest.
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. How many seasons did Golden Girls run for? 7. I'm going to say 7. Although I think that's a lot. But maybe 5.
8.
All right, let's take a look here.
Well, I mean, there's also, like, I don't remember if it was still Golden Girls, or did it go by different? There's like Golden Palace.
I think you're just looking at Chinese menus, Randy. I really like the General Tso's. They got really good General Tso's and the crab rangoon's really good at the Golden Palace.
And Cheech Marin was one of their employees.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
7 seasons of the Golden Girls.
7 seasons, so I was right with my original guess. I thought that was too long. Wow, that's for real, man. 20 episodes, 22. That's over 140 episodes. That's
like, I don't think B. Arthur liked any of them.
You don't think B. Arthur liked any of them?
Yeah.
Well, how the hell would you know? I don't think there's any footage of B. Arthur ever smiling.
I've seen a couple of interviews and stuff with her, and like doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh.
He's got a dirty joke about Stell Getty. Like an unkind oral sex joke about Stell Getty. What the?
Jeezy peasy. That was the old lady?
Yeah.
She was the old one. She was the mom, right?
She actually wasn't older than them. There was a thing saying that she was younger than them, but she was about the same age, according to B.
Wasn't she supposed to be the mother or something though?
Yeah,
one of them?
She's B. Arthur's character's mom.
Okay, that's what I thought. And so she's telling, unflattering.
Blanche and Dorothy. She was Dorothy.
And what was her character's name?
I was just pulling that out. Oh, that was the Golden Palace.
Computer, who wrote the theme song to Golden Girls?
The Golden Girls soundtrack includes performances by Andrew Gold.
Andrew Gold. Yeah. There's another song by Andrew Gold. Computer, what were the hits by Andrew Gold?
Showing songs by Andrew Gold from Amazon Prime Music. For more tracks, check out Amazon Music Unlimited.
Lonely Boy, that's the one.
Sophia was Dorothy's mother's name.
Sophia, there you go. Lonely Boy.
Like Carol Burnett show. Love that.
How long did the Carol Burnett show run? You know, they actually, I think they started showing that on like Amazon Prime or something. Oh, and also, Randy, I think on Amazon Prime you can watch Space 1999. You remember us talking about that? That was the one show that you couldn't remember that had.
I found it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they had, and although I think it may have started like with season 2 or something weird like that, which is goofy, but all right. So Randy, this is the song that I'm talking about. This was done by the same person who did, Thank You for Being a Friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just read the lyrics here. It says he was born on a summer day, 1951, and with a slap of a hand, he landed as an only son. His mother and father said, "What a lovely boy. We'll teach him what we've learned." Ah, yes, just what we learned. We'll dress him up warmly and we'll send him to school. I'll teach him how to fight, to be nobody's fool. Oh, what a lonely boy, what a lonely boy. In the summer of 53, his mother brought him a sister, and she told him we must attend to her needs. She's so much younger than you. Well, he ran down the hall and he cried. Oh, how could his parents have lied when they said he was an only son? He thought he was the only one. What a lonely boy, what a lonely boy. Goodbye, Mama. Goodbye to you. Goodbye, Papa. I'm pushing on through. He left home on a winter day, 1969, and he hoped to find all the love he had lost in that earlier time. Well, his sister grew up. She married a man. He gave her a son. Ah, yes, a lovely son. They dressed him up warmly. They sent him to school. It taught him how to fight, to be nobody's fool. Oh, what a lonely boy. The end.
Delightful.
This again, I think that had to be a song from the 70s, right? I think. Or early 80s. Let me see here. What was... Oh, boy. 76. So,
yeah, it's a little deviation from the Golden Girls theme.
Yeah. Thank you for being a friend, unlike my parents who gave me a sister and made me not feel like I was loved anymore. Thank you for being a friend, unlike those pieces of crap that I called parents. Sorry.
So apparently, according to Wikipedia, the Carol Burnett show had 279 episodes.
Oh, that is baller, man.
11 seasons. And then they had the Mama's Family spinoff.
Yeah, I remember that. I know that made it to syndication, so I think you have to have at least 100 episodes or something like that to make it to syndication. So usually it's, I think, 4 or 5 seasons. I think you have to have before you can qualify for syndication.
There were 6 seasons of Mama's Family.
6 seasons. Wow. Now, who was the what is her name?
Vicki Lawrence.
Vicki Lawrence. Yeah, Vicki Lawrence. That's crazy.
Carol Burnett played her daughter.
On that show?
That actually started as a skit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it started as a skit on the...
skit. Carol Burnett.
Well, that's funny. Okay.
Betty White played one of her daughters.
Betty White. I'm pretty sure she's immortal. I think she's elvish.
Oh, yeah.
I think she has one of the 3 elvish rings.
I think Betty White actually had her own kind of sketch show for a while. I've heard. Sketch.
Yeah, you probably have to... I don't know if anybody's had a more prolific career than Betty White over the years, right? She's probably been working for like 70 years or something like that. Something insane. I'm trying to figure out here.
The Betty White Show. Television series. Aired on CBS September 12th, 1977 to January 9th, 70.
Man, I want to buy Friends.
This program should not be confused with two earlier television programs that had the same title.
What are we talking about
here? The Betty White Show?
The Betty White Show, not to be confused with the... Not that Betty White. We meant the other Betty White. Huh. Or does she just keep making shows and she just doesn't... She has to keep calling it the Betty White Show. It's like Tony Danza can't play somebody whose character's not named Tony. You do know that, right? I think he's been Tony in every show he's ever done.
This is the only way he'll respond when his name is called.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, I don't know. When somebody called me another name, I could never figure it out. That was a dead-on Tony Danza impersonation, by the way. Search high and low, you're not going to find anything better. You're in fact funny. Alright. Now with this, if I recall, I'm going to want to do a very soft hand on this, and I think maybe a bigger brush might facilitate to some degree, although I could also be full of crap. Let's see which it is. To do this, I'm going to need a new spooge rag. Oh, so yeah. Did you ever watch I Dream a Genie, Randy? I think that's one.
Yeah,
maybe
I one.
I think I've probably seen that maybe the least of them.
I think they were like back to back with Bewitched.
Okay. Yeah, see Bewitched. I Dream a Genie. You ever watch
Brady Bunch?
You ever watch you know what's funny? I thought as a kid this was really confusing to me. I thought Happy Days was a documentary. In essence, right? I thought Happy Days was done. I mean, Happy Days was filmed in the 70s, right? But it's about the 50s. It takes place in the 50s, but it was filmed during the 70s. Live in front of a studio audience. The Brady Bunch, however, I think occurred during its actual time period, right? I mean, they're depicting modern day.
Yeah.
They're not depicting the 60s. And I think that, in my mind, that now I think that I know that the Happy Days was in the 70s, and I guess I think there's a part of me that thinks that was the same thing with like the Brady Bunch or something. But that's not the case. If you know what I mean. And it is weird because people who will be watching this, right? Like, there's going to be other people who will watch. They'll watch Happy Days and they'll think that they'll think one of two things, right? They're either going to think that Happy Days occurred during the 50s, was filmed during the 50s, mm-hmm. or they're going to think that that the Brady Bunch was a period piece, so to speak.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. When people look at these things, because it's easy to group those things together, but, And here's the thing. So, Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff of Happy Days. Right? So, what time period was
it technically a spin? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it was, because they were in that episode with Mork from Mork, actually. Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Ork are in a Happy Days episode that actually did occur. I'm not just making that up. Yeah, because they go out on dates. Like, Richie Cunningham, I think, goes on a date with Laverne, and like they try to like take him to prom or something. And I think they may have been older than them, but even then, but yeah. Now, Laverne and Shirley, they lived in Milwaukee because they worked at the brewery. But I'm not sure what city Happy Days was supposed to have taken place in. Do you?
I don't know. Let's see.
All right, here just right off the bat, you can see some of the how effective.
It's set in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It is. Happy Days was set in Milwaukee. Okay. And then what was the time period? So they was in the 50s. The Happy Days was in the 50s, and then I'm assuming that then when they were doing.
So Richie had an older brother named Chuck.
Yeah.
He was briefly in season 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember him playing basketball outside with him. I think he went to the Army. He went to the Army, and I don't know if he ever came back. I do remember him vaguely. And then in the original episodes, some of the early episodes, the Fonz isn't wearing a leather jacket. He's actually wearing a windbreaker. And I think that was because they thought that a leather jacket was too indicative of like motorcycle gangs and had a negative connotation. And the early episodes too, I think also were filmed, like with film, not like shot like in a studio audience type of scenario. But yeah, Happy Days had a ton of spin-offs because you had Joni Loves Crotchy. You had Happy Days Again. You had Mork for Mork. You had Laverne and Shirley. It's actually looking pretty cool. Compare this to our take my big gullet out of there. But just a little subtle. So I'll probably do some more on these, but these are this is getting us where we want to go nicely. Yeah, so what I keep trying to say here, though, Randy, and I keep tripping on myself, is that so if Happy Days took place in the 50s and Laverne and Shirley was kind of them, I think, making their own way, so I'm assuming that must have been in the 60s, or was it supposed to be them in the 70s, like it caught up and it was just real-time 70s? Standing for this piece.
Late 50s.
It was depicting the late 50s?
Shots Brewery.
Late 50s of the Shots Brewery. That would have been an interesting time to be a young independent woman, wouldn't it? The late 50s? Not having a husband. You know what I mean?
They certainly made it seem so.
I don't know how to interpret that response. I want to take a second though to hopefully to think about this. So I was like, man, that would be a hard time to be a woman, right? And you were like, well, they certainly made it seem so.
That's what you said? It didn't sound like that. It sounded like he's...
That's how it sounded like you said. Like I was like, you know, they made it. Man, they made it. You know, I bet you that would be been a hard time to live as a woman, a single woman during that time period. You don't have a husband. You're not in a conventional family, and I think you were saying, yeah, they certainly made it seem so. But it kind of like the way you said it so deadpan. It was like, well, they certainly made it seem so.
It sounded like you said that that it was an interesting time in a good way.
Oh,
like a fun time.
Oh yeah, no. Like, man, that would be great. What a time to be a young lady on your own, living it up, trying to break gender role stereotypes, find value in yourself and not need to find it in validation in somebody else while nobody thinks that's valid. But you know what? That ant can move a rubber tree plant because he's got high hopes. Do you remember they'd always sing that song? Laverne and Shirley?
high hopes.
They always had this thing about that ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he's got high hopes. He's got high hopes. He's got high in the sky apple pie hopes. So dum bum bum ba dum ba da dun da 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 da. Whoops, there goes another rubber tree. Whoops, there goes another rubber tree. Whoops, there goes another rubber tree. Plant, dead ant. Something like that.
I definitely don't remember the thing.
But they would, yeah. And so, like, that was like the thing. It was like, come on. Well, what about that ant? Well, he's got high hopes. What's he got? He's got high hopes. You know, and they would end up singing the song. It was kind of like their motto, I thought. I don't know. You may have lived in a different Mandela universe during that time.
I saw long-running shows we were talking about. So Supernatural with Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, I just have never been able to...
That's
I
years.
That is crazy. I've never been able to get past the toxic masculinity, the subdued toxic masculinity that's just present in the cover shot of the two of them, with their smoldering eyes.
Yeah, they're going for a certain fan base.
Yeah.
They play that. They play off of that, and they get really silly, especially Dean. They have a lot of elements within the show you run.
Thank you for calling him Dean, because that's his name in Gilmore Girls, right?
No, not Jared. Jensen.
I don't know. I don't know any of these people by names, but
Jared Padalecki is Sam. Jared Padalecki was the one that was in Golden Girls.
Not Golden Girls.
Jensen
Gilmore
Ackles
Girls.
was actually on
Gilmore Girls.
What I say?
Golden Girls.
Yeah, Gilmore Girls. Jensen Ackles was actually in Dark Angel. Do you remember Dark Angel? Did you see that?
I remember Angel. I don't remember Dark Angel. The spinoff of Buffy?
What?
Are you talking about the spinoff of Buffy?
No, not Angel. Dark Angel.
No, I don't remember Dark Angel.
She was like, let's see, Dark Angel is an American science fiction drama television series that premiered on the Fox Network 2000. Created by James Cameron, Charles H. Egley. Stars Jessica Alba in her breakthrough role.
Oh, wow.
There are 2 seasons. Wow,
Oh, wow. Man, you're like...
She was like a... What?
And is that where she first became known? Was from that?
Yeah, that was her breakthrough role.
I vaguely remember that. Wow. And what was the premise of it?
She was kind of like...
Was it a government thing, or did she have...
A genetically created... It was a government... Well, I don't know if it was technically government, but yeah, some agency, some organization created.
Man.
There were apparently a bunch of them.
Yeah. Angel, the better show than Buffy. These might be fighting words. I digress. I don't think that Angel was a better show than Buffy, but...
Do you remember the musical episode of Buffy?
Yes. I also remember the silent episode of Buffy. Did Angel have that? Huh? Did it? No. You had Charisma Carpenter and the failed part of her career. Oh. Sorry. Am I really trying to get uppity about Buffy shows right now? That seems kind of ridiculous, Randy. I enjoyed Supernatural. It has some good moments. I had a friend who really spoke highly of Supernatural. Like I said, I just couldn't get over the cover. And the thing is, too, it was like one of the guys was from Gilmore Girls, and then the other guy is in the early episodes of Smallville and plays like the dick.
Oh yeah.
The dick, like captain of the football team or whatever.
Episode.
I think he's in the season. I think he's in the first season. I think he's Lana's girlfriend. I think he's Lana's boyfriend in the first season. He may die. Hashtag spoilers.
Probably.
But, anyways.
Jensen Ackles. That's...
Yeah, and he was such a jerky character in that it's just kind of like, yeah. it was the same thing that if we're talking about great TV shows that you should stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. Just stop what you're doing and go watch these things right now. And one of those is Peaky Blinders. Good golly. And I didn't want to watch it because I didn't think I was going to like the lead actor because he always kind of plays like a jerky character, but it is really, 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 really good. That's one that I got to pick up and start watching it again, like immediately. I got to follow my own advice on that one. Let's see what time
There's season 4 of Smallville.
Season 4? He must come back in season 4 because he's in the first season.
I'm getting conflicting.
Randy, are you using our internet or are you using the Chinese internet?
Isn't it all the Chinese internet?
It is, yeah. You're right.
Everything's the Chinese.
I'm made in China. I was made in China. I believe in God.
Do you?
I believe.
Do you believe in God? I believe in God.
I believe in God.
Oops. You still there?
Yeah, I am. I'm
Okay.
walking around here trying to get some stuff. What time period of your life, Randy? What age do you think that you were most into cartoons? Was it like a young kid, or was it like? Because like I had two periods. Like one I think when I was say like an elementary school age, watching Saturday morning cartoons. But then like when I was in middle school, I think there was a resurgence of cartoons, like from after school cartoons.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been younger. I think there was a certain point where there was a switch off. Like I was done with the cartoons that were on. But I don't know. I certainly don't recall watching around that point. Before then, big cartoon watching. Remember we tried to rewatch Thundercats?
Yeah. Did not
That
go
was
as well as
not
we
as-
hoped.
Yeah.
I think it may get better though
Not
as
as
we
bad
go
as
on.
some of them, though.
Yeah, I think it may get better too as it goes along. I mean, I'm not gonna.
Dark, like,
'Cause it's like-
painful.
Yeah. But it's like rewatching that first season of Star Trek: Next Generation. Does not negate the value of the entire show. So I'm hoping it gets better. But it was hard for us to continue to endeavor to find out. But yeah, that was the thing when I was in middle school. I think about the time I was in middle school, they came out with Fox, right? And then that meant that there was some new cartoons that became available to kids. And I'm trying to think Thundercats was one of those, Inspector Gadget. What else would have been during that time, Randy? Transformers, Voltron. Still with me, Randy?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Those were the ones that.
He-Man.
Oh yeah, He-Man. Yeah, He-Man.
DuckTales.
DuckTales a little bit later. Yeah. And then that would like DuckTales. It morphed into like DuckTales and like Gargoyles and some other shows, I think. Animaniacs.
Jem and the Misfits.
Yeah.
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. I don't know anything about
Say
Captain
Teenage
Planet.
Turtles.
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. Yeah, G.I. Joe. Now those though were Saturday morning. G.I. Joe was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Strawberry Shortcake.
And that would be, I think, those were ones that I would think of as Saturday morning cartoons. Do you remember The Littles? A cartoon called The Littles?
I don't remember anything about it, but you say that, and yes, I know that was a thing.
Pink Panther. Oh, Pink Panther, yeah. Gargoyle. Pink Panther is old, man, and weird. Like, I think Pink Panther was actually created, like, Pink Panther cartoons, I think, were actually created for, like, movies. Would you agree with that, Randy? Like, as intros for movies? But they're really... I don't know
if they were created for that, or if...
Because I don't think there's any words in the Pink Panther. And I did... the Gargoyles was good. I tried to watch it again, and there again, the beginning was not good. But I remember the later episodes of the Gargoyles being really strong.
I liked Gargoyles.
And they had so many of the people from Next Generation were did voices for it. I know, like, the female Gargoyle was Deanna Troi. I think Worf played somebody. I know Brent Spiner played Puck, because I know that, like, Oberon and Titania and, like, the elves or whatever, fairies or whatever, they had something to do with it. It was interesting.
Sorry, I'm looking at stuff from the Littles. Yes, I definitely watched that.
So, as I recall, the Littles were like mouse-sized people, essentially, humanoids. They were like elves or something like that, and they had this whole little world, right? And we are the Littles. They took a little, like, string elevator down into the grotto where they lived or something like that.
Looks like it'd be cute.
Yeah. That's something that...
I definitely watched it. I just don't remember it.
Well, you know, that's the thing. I mean, we probably watched like 10 episodes. I'm lucky that it...
Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes is also, in it.
Also, Gummy Bears. Care Bears, Gummy Bears.
I don't remember Gummy Bears. I remember
Gummy Bears.
Care Bears.
You don't remember Gummy Bears?
No, like as in like a cartoon or TV show? No, I don't.
Cartoon. Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is such
Dungeons and Dragons or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it called?
Yeah, that one was a Saturday morning. That was at the same time as I mentioned to you, Thundar the Barbarian. Remember us talking about that one?
Mm-hmm.
Had the weird Chewbacca-like thing, and they rode horses that had tails or some stuff. And I think Thundar, may have had a like a lightning sword or something like that. It was early 80s. Were you ever like a Tom and Jerry guy?
Yeah, I watched a fair amount of Looney Tunes or
Oh yeah, Looney Tunes. Crazy too, because those things they went through so many iterations. I mean, like, Scooby Doo. I mean, they still make Scooby Doo, right? There's 1,000 iterations of Scooby Doo. It's been going on forever. And it was like, with Tom and Jerry, there was a time where it was the old school Tom and Jerry, and then there was the newer versions of them where it was cheaper animation and stuff. But, yeah, there's some classic Tom and Jerry's that are just, I think, amazing. I know, is you is, or is you ain't my baby. I know that from Tom and Jerry.
Smurfs, we mentioned that earlier in a different...
Yeah, Smurfs. Tom and Jerry.
What's the one? There was like Baby Muppets.
I think it may have just been called Baby Muppets, but yeah. And I didn't watch a lot of like Nickelodeon stuff, so like I never saw like Rugrats or stuff like that.
No, I don't.
There was a show that I used to catch. My ex, she would find interesting things to watch a lot of times on TV. And it was like in the morning, before we would go to work, there was a show that we used to watch. It was called Recess. And it was a really fun, cute cartoon. Welcome back. Here in a second, maybe. I need some more, so we're just going to keep going with what we're doing here. Thanks to everybody who's given us your time and your attention today. Your eyeballs and your ear holes, we appreciate you. If you ain't smashed them buttons that matter yet, please do so. We greatly appreciate it. And remember to tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your greasy granny with her hole in her panty, going beep, beep, beep down Sesame Street. That Studio Johnny Q is...
What?
Oh, you're back. I was just testing to see if you're there. That was a taunt we used to do when we were a kid. This was a taunt I learned when busing started. Was your mama, your daddy, your greasy granny got a hole in a panty going beep 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 down Sesame Street.
What? That's crazy.
That was something I learned in the 3rd grade, and it's always stuck with me. That was at the same time I remember the 3rd grade. Big deal in the 3rd grade. The cootie touch. Did you have the cootie touch, Randy?
You got cooties? Yeah.
Cootie touch. That was big. And then what happened was, remember it morphed because we ended up dissecting in our class a cow's heart. So for a short period of time, the cootie touch became the cow's heart touch.
Was it in high school?
No, this was in 3rd grade.
You dissected a cow's heart in 3rd grade?
Somebody's dad was a butcher, and they brought in a heart to class, and yeah, they did some. I think we poked it or looked at it or something. But yeah, I remember there briefly it became the cow's heart touch. And it's funny because it's one of those things that like meant something to like 30 kids, right? Because it was like one class, right? So it meant something to 30 kids. That's a part of my mind that, some of the people are probably even dead at this point. But yet, as a kid, to me, I thought it was like, oh, it's the cow's heart touch, and like it was a real thing or something. It's like, no, it wasn't a real thing. Some stupid stuff that only 30 people knew about. It was just a joke within a joke. But yeah.
Oh, did you ever watch this? I think it's called the Snorkels.
The Snorkels, were those the ones they looked like the Crisp guy from the Crisp thing? It's like a round head, but they had like a curly, almost like a precursor to Teletubbies.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I know of this thing, but I don't know that I don't know much about
Garfield.
There's
a Beetlejuice. I forgot there was a Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh wow, yeah. That probably would have been around the same time as like the Ghostbusters cartoons, or one of the Ghostbusters cartoons, because I think there's 2 different Ghostbuster cartoons. There's the Ghostbusters, and then there's the real Ghostbusters. But let's see here. Here's something, Randy, that I don't know what it is, but I know a theme song for it. There was a product, I think, and it may also been. Maybe there was a cartoon related to it as well, but I believe it was called a Monchichi. And I believe it was like, Monchichi, Monchichi, oh so soft and cuddly, bum 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 bum, ba-dum, ba
Yeah,
ba.
they kind of look like little monkeys. It is a monkey, or it's sort of like a monkey anyway. It's got a tail and it's furry.
A Monchichi.
Doll puppet. Japanese stuffed monkeys from
Japanese stuffed
like
monkeys.
the Gucci Corporation.
It makes them sound like they're real monkeys when you say it like that. It makes them sound like they're real. Oh, hey Arnold. Recess. Okay, so yeah, okay, so Colonel Mustard, you know what I'm talking about with Recess. Real Monsters. I don't know Real Monsters. And Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold, is that the one where his head looks like a football? Is that Hey Arnold? Ah, Real Monsters. I don't know that one. I'll have to.
Isn't there like a Garbage Pail Kids cartoon?
That sounds
Cabbage
right.
Patch Kids, Garbage Pail.
Mr. Mustard, what are like some of the first shows that you think that you'll look forward to sharing with your your child. I know you still got some time, but move it, football head. So I think that must have been.
There was a Munchies cartoon.
There was?
1983.
Okay.
One season. Munchies are monkey-like creatures living in the forest land of Monchia. The tribe leader is a magical wizard called Wizar, who can make up spells and potions to defeat their enemy.
Huh. It sounds kind of cool, actually. I just knew that they were so soft and cuddly.
Oh, this looks... There's a picture of... There was apparently a girl that was... looks like most of them were brown colored. This one is white color fur, with a red little dress and red little bow on her. Kind of.
I bet you it has blue eyes. Probably was the blue-eyed devil.
No, they all look like they have brown, dark brown or black eyes.
I don't know. First shows that you want to that you had a penchant towards that you're going to show your daughter. Or like any books. Were there any books that you read as a kid? I think the first books that I ever fell in love with, Randy, and I don't think if you were familiar with these, was the Encyclopedia Brown books. You said that you never read those, right?
No.
I think those were, I mean, they were really thin. So, I mean, I think that this is probably like second grade, maybe. You're reading these, right? I think if I had a kid, that would be something. That and the Chronicles of Narnia would be some of the books that I would enjoy sharing with a child if I were to have one, which I won't, as mandated by the state to stay in compliance with the state's regulations.
There's a RoboCop cartoon?
Really?
There's 15 amazing forgotten cartoons.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Have the picture on there.
Art of War. That's good. That's what Mustard said. He's got a copy of Art of War that he's looking forward to sharing with his young daughter. What is that, Lao Tzu?
Nice.
I'm trying to think.
There's
Sure.
A cartoon called Math. It's an acronym. Okay. Silverhawks. That looks vaguely familiar.
Oh, Calvin and Hobbes.
Those definitely look.
Hook movie. That's fun. What was you saying, Randy? Sorry, I was reading some of the chat.
Silverhawk?
Silverhawks. Yeah.
1986.
Silverhawks. So that reminded me of when I saw Silverhawks, it instantly hit the button that made me think about the show that we were talking about. That was called G-Force, I believe. And it was where you were like, oh yeah, this is totally the precursor to Voltron. You remember us talking about that? They had helmets that had like little bird beaks, and they had like these little wings. It's called something, I think, else in Japan, but I think in America, it's called G-Force. And I think that was their call sign when they would unite. That might be it. Yeah, that could be it. Guardians of Space. But I think they would say G-Force or G-Force Unite or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it was
totally obviously directly taken from that.
Yeah, it's like it's Voltron. Voltron is a reboot of the show, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it was heavily influenced. Why wouldn't it be? But I saw where there was some figures.
Judy, Pee-wee, Aggie, and Dirk.
Is that the name of the characters?
Dr. Benjamin Brighthead, which is organized clothing.
So some of the things that Tater says he's looking forward to sharing with his kid are some of the Calvin and Hobbes comics, which are neat. The first TMT and Hook movie for TV show. Hey Arnold, that's cool. More movies than TV shows. That's cool. Yeah, I remember like one of my friends, when he was talking about it, and he was talking about some of the things that held up and some of the things that didn't hold up. And I was thinking that there was one where he thought that his kids were going to be into it, and they were just like, meh. I can't remember what it was. For some reason, I was thinking it was Ghostbusters, but that doesn't make sense because I watched Ghostbusters not that long ago, and it still like it held up.
It's one of Dino Riders, 88.
Oh, wow.
Dinosaurs, he's got them like strapped down, like armored with guns and stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like in that time period, it seemed like there was a lot of stuff like that, right? Where it's like, and there would be like robot animals, and they would have symbols, and my symbol beats your symbol, and stuff like that too, right? Megabots and BattleBot, or all kinds of weird, nondescript.
So like I don't remember a lot of the stuff, but by seeing the pictures of them, it's like, whoa, okay,
yeah,
that looks really familiar. I've definitely seen that. Don't remember it at all, but there's something called Brave Star.
Brave Star.
7 to 88.
Did he have like a star on his chest?
Warped. Yeah, like a sheriff's badge.
And is he blonde?
Like over his heart.
Is he blonde?
No, I would say that he kind of looks like he's probably Native American.
Oh, okay.
He's got kind of a cowboy hat on.
Is this a movie, TV show, cartoon?
This is a cartoon. And there's he's like arm wrestling or shaking hands, I'm not sure which, with a dude that's like a humanoid type horse character with a metal arm.
Huh.
Defenders of the Earth. Call that. What?
No,
Legend of Zelda cartoon.
I remember there being a Pac-Man cartoon.
Oh yeah, Pac-Man. I watched that.
She's watching Ghostbusters 1 and 2, whether she wants to or not. She don't have to go to church, but she has to watch Ghostbusters. Let's see where we can.
The GoBots. Challenge of the GoBots. A ripoff of or precursor.
The GoBots came out about the same time as Transformer. Transformer was the VHS, and GoBots were the
this
beta.
list does list it as a ripoff. He said it sounds like Transformer is a ripoff of other stuff.
Well, but yeah. But I remember GoBots, and when I was a kid, I remember GoBots and Transformers coming out roughly at the same time as toys. But I only remember there being a good... I remember there was a Transformer cartoon. I don't remember there being a GoBots cartoon. Although, I'm not surprised. It was almost a requisite for there to be one, I would think, probably.
Popples? 1986 to 1987. They look like almost like little Care Bears. Like little bear creatures, except they got big floppy ears. Well, this one's ears are shaped like hearts. I definitely saw that. Think about it, except I definitely... Mr. T.
Oh, Mr. T had
83
yeah.
to 86.
And that would have been, he also had a breakfast cereal as well at that time. Beautiful. Cut the jibba jabba.
The last dinosaur. I definitely do not remember that one. Cops, the cartoon. 88 to 89.
Nope. But I mean, I would have been graduating high school then, so I could totally have missed that.
Shurion.
Wasn't there
Dinah Saucers?
Okay, wasn't there a failed TV show called Cops, and it was like a musical? It was called Cops, but they sang in it.
What?
This would have been in the 80s. This would have been in the late 80s. And
Cop Rock.
Cop Rock.
Cop Rock is an American series, a police drama presented as a musical.
How do you sell this? What
God.
crack were you smoking at the table when it's like, I got a pitch for you? First off, it's called Cop Rock. Oh, no, say no more. I'm in. You have to tell me nothing further about your show, young man. I'm buying Cop Rock. Yeah, it didn't fly, surprisingly. We were into Hill Street Blues. We didn't want Cop Rock. Cagney and Lacey? Sure. TJ Hammer? Okay. Mike Hammer. We got it. Or TJ Hooker. Mike Hammer? Yep. But Cop Rock? No, I think we're done. There's something that could be a candidate for fodder for us to watch. Is when I was a kid, I could not, this would have been about the second grade, I couldn't have been more excited when there was a TV miniseries that came out, and it was called, I believe it was called Kiss and the Phantom of the Park.
Kiss and what?
Kiss and the Phantom of the Park, I believe is what it was. Where Kiss has to come and use their magic powers because they had magic powers.
I remember something that I think I was thinking that it was like there was an episode of Scooby-Doo that had Kiss on it or something.
Oh yeah, no, this was live action.
Yeah, Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
Oh, it's live action.
Yeah, it's live action. That would have been. And let me see here. I could probably guess the year. I think I was in the second grade, so I would have said that would have been 78. Is what I'm thinking. What year was that, Randy?
Kiss Phantom in the Park, original release, October 28th, 1978.
Nailed it.
Kiss Me, also known as Attack of the Phantom. Kiss Phantom. Made for television musical film. Hard rock. Produced by the studio of Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera produced it? That's awesome. Oh, you know another one that would be great for us to watch? TV movie is called Mazes and Monsters. Do you know what that is?
It's Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah, that's the one with Tom Hanks.
It's supposed to be a cautionary tale against the satanic possibilities of D&D.
Yes. Yep. That would be a lot of fun to watch, I think. It's got Tom Hanks, a very young Tom Hanks. I think at that time, I'm trying to think if that would have been pre or post Bosom Buddies. Speaking of classic TV shows, right?
The Bosom Buddies is another good series.
Yeah. I wonder how that holds up. And it'd be interesting, too, because that was dealing with a lot of gender issues at the time, right?
Was it? I mean, only in the fact that they dressed up as that they were pretending to be women. That
I
they
think
were
that
passing as women. It wasn't that they were being.
I think that they were allowed by that using that vehicle that allowed them to make criticisms about, I think, some of the unseen struggles that women go through. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I mean, yeah, I don't remember that much about it. I can envision scenes of like, them having to take off their fake boobs or something.
Yeah.
Like exhausted from walking in heels and things like that.
Yeah.
But
amount of time it takes to put on makeup and
somebody trying to steal their purse.
Yeah.
It was all like comedy based.
Yeah, but I mean, Tootsie's kind of a comedy too, but I think it's saying a lot more than just PP and the JJ jokes.
Billy Joel ending theme was "Shake Me Loose and All" theme. The producer Billy Joel. Number of episodes 36, 37. 2 seasons.
What are we talking about?
Who's his co-star in Bosom Buddies?
He was in.
Peter Scolari.
Yeah, he was in the Bob Newhart show. I think he was married to the blonde in the Bob Newhart show. Trying to think of what else he was in.
So Bosom Buddies was 1980 to 82. It returned in the summer of 94.
Huh.
This says gender stereotypes and male-female impersonal relationships were.
It was a very groovy time, man. Do you remember a very short-lived show called Square Pegs? Starred Sex and the City's very own Sarah Jessica Parker as a nerd. Would probably been like mid-80s.
I don't think I ever saw those.
Did she have braces or was it just her friend? I think they both have glasses. One of them has braces.
Yeah, it looks like one of them has glasses and the other one has braces. They're featured very heavily in the poster here. Square Pegs, they're like, one is the one with the braces she's smiling, and the braces are very prominent. Actually, it looks like it's probably a retainer, but because it looks like one solid metal line. And she's holding the glasses of the other one.
Yeah.
Well, that is definitely. Huh. Yeah, that doesn't look familiar at all. I think I ever saw that.
And then there was around that time, there was a show. Now, I only remember the title of this because we had discussed it previously, but it was called Merlin and Me, I believe. And where this kid, he grabs the help wanted sign in front of a garage, and the garage is run by Merlin, and this means that he's supposed to be the new king, I guess. And so,
wow, it didn't even want to bring it up. Instead, it brought up Marley and Me.
Yeah, probably. All right.
A lot of other odd results. Huh.
I'm trying to think. It had an old guy whose name you would know. I think. I think it was. I remember was it maybe Max and Merlin or Merlin and Max or something like that? Maybe I've got the name wrong too. But the idea was that Merlin is a garage mechanic.
This is from 1980s.
Yeah, it would have been probably like 83, something like that.
And it was live action or cartoon?
Yeah, it was like a 30-minute sitcom kind of thing.
Sitcom. Mr. Merlin?
Mr. Merlin, that sounds right.
American ran for one season, 81 to 82. Barnard Hughes. This place in modern day San Francisco, disguised as Max Merlin.
Max Merlin.
Oh, it's.
Do you recognize Merlin?
He looks. Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is. I couldn't tell you what else he was in, but
Yeah,
I knew, I recognized him. You know. All right. So let me see where we're at. are you doing on time today? I see that we were at our 2 hours.
Yeah, I need to go pretty soon.
Let us One second. Before we go, we will conclude with our mental health minute. I've been listening to, some of these meditative audio clips and things, right? You follow me, Randy?
Yep.
And one of the things that they talk about all the time is they talk about like taking an inventory, which I don't like to do. I don't like to take a physical inventory because physical ailments are an anxiety trigger for me. So that's not the thing that I like to do to try to make myself relax. But it talks about, if you have a pain or an ache, you don't put any emotional context of it. You're just assessing. But it also talk about, as you think about things, as you think about the past, as you think about the future, that you remove the emotional context of it, right? What was judgment, without judgment. And I think I've undervalued how important it can be to remove the judgment out of your feelings and about these things, right? Looking upon the past. Let me see if I can tie this into, it's like when we're playing Rocket League, right? And, and I'll speak from my experience. I'm playing Rocket League. I do something stupid. I'm just like, I'm so stupid, right? And it's like, that's not an expression of mental health, right? A healthier way would be like, would not be that I did something and now I am stupid. At best, I did something stupid, but that's probably not really the best way to describe what actually occurred either, right? But there's actually something to that. It's not just an exclamation that you're making. I think that there's a truth to it, that somehow
you're lashing out at yourself in frustration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an emotional self-flagellation sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I realize that, when I hear these meditative things and they're talking about this, without judgment, that's something that I don't have an easy time doing, and that I realize there's a real opportunity, I think, for me to examine that further, to be able to look upon things that I did in the past and not have to judge myself because of it. I think we had Mr. Mustard that was talking about that. He was up the other night, right? And thinking about previous life decisions that he had. And by the context of his descriptions, it sounded like he was putting a lot of judgment into some of his thought process that maybe would have been better if he couldn't. So
I think that's an important part of the process of self-analysis. Part of your personal growth is to be able to examine those things, and even like in science, objectivity and stuff, you have to be able to have an objective viewpoint on things. So if you can apply that to yourself and aspects in life, and view things objectively, removing any emotional bias or anything from it, then it puts you in a better place to not jump to conclusions quickly, to really try to consider both sides of things and try to come to an equilibrium on things, rather than just quickly deciding one thing or another.
Yeah, I think so much of that is... Yeah, I think so much of it has to do with being a knee-jerk reaction to our own insecurity, right? That we...
Yeah.
But... Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I just recently heard that, and it like I say, it triggered something in me. That's like, I think that this is good cause for me to further kind of examine, and therefore I thought might be applicable for us to bring up here just briefly in our.
And that's another. I've mentioned this to several people before. Is like, you have to be able to stop being a victim, like stop saying, "Oh, poor me."
Yeah.
so-and-so did this to me. Why did they do this to me? I'm like this because they did this. And it's like, well, you were not blameless in this particular instance. Like, you're not blameless. Like, they didn't make you do this thing. You chose to do this thing. And you need to, even if they did do that thing to you, like, maybe they didn't set out to do it, maybe that wasn't their point. Like, regardless, you need to stop letting that bother you now. Like, it's affecting you negatively now, and it happened, like, something that happened 20 years ago. What's the point in to better manage your resources? You've only got so much attention and so much life, so you need to put your energy in the best place possible, and that's certainly not it.
Yeah, there's something about, like, if people like you and me, right, people our age, if we're still greatly being affected by things that happened to us in high school, that is not good. But it certainly probably is true for both of us. There's probably some things that happened to us in high school that have a much greater hold on us than they should, But you can't think back of, like, oh, I'm this way because of something that happened in high school, right? That was 20 years ago. And
like, even if you can't, you should be able to look back at stuff, like you said, without that emotional involvement. You should be able to view it objectively. You need to learn how to, if you're having the negative emotions, things that are affecting you negatively about these memories or things that happened to you in the past, you need to learn how to observe it, learn how to observe them objectively in your head, and diffuse that emotional context to it a bit, so you can move on.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've experienced that, I've analyzed it, I can now put it in the past, put it in some place where it's no longer has any power over me.
Yeah.
I'm no longer negatively affected by this. I can move on.
There's something about, like, the guilt that we put on ourselves for things not done, right? And it's a special hell that we put ourselves through, I think. And I've been thinking about it, like, what's funny is, like, there were things that I was supposed to have done in my old house, right? I'm not there anymore. That thing is never getting done. Am I still supposed to carry the burden of that thing that I was supposed to have done, this guilt that I put into myself? I'm like, well, no, of course not, right? But, so that's an obvious situation for me, that it's affecting me, but I can, recognize it. But there's a lot of other situations that are very much identical to it, but I don't have that distance to it to be able to clearly identify it. If you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. And those things are like, yeah, that's such a pointless waste of your energy.
Yeah, like, and it's like, so how much energy should I waste if that's the case now? How much of it should I, how important was it actually then, And then how important is that work? How can I translate that into things that I put that concern into now? Is this a teachable moment, I guess, is the kind of what I'm examining. And I think yes, by and large. But.
Yeah, I mean, it gets older. It gets easier, I think, as you get older. Like I said previously, I think there's probably some sort of biological to that, with, like, hormone levels changing or whatever, as part of the equation. But it's also that mortality salience coming in.
Yeah, I think scientifically there's evidence, Randy, that your can't give a fuck at all levels drop greatly. I think that's what it is.
Plus, your response levels, you're so much, like, potentially so much driven by passions, like quick, fiery passion, or youthful, and those, you start to die out and have more equilibrium in your reactions to things. Hopefully this is the case for most people.
You give up a lot of fight once all your dreams are dead.
Yeah. So that's an element of it. That's one possible perspective. But also, I think there's just generally a biological, as well as a sort of wisdom thing about mortality salience. They're like, look, I don't have much time left. So, potentially in the long run, we've only got so much time. So, am I going to waste my energy, and am I going to waste the rest of my life, the rest of this little time that we have here? I'm going to waste that toward worrying about this shit that means nothing in the long grand scheme.
Yeah.
or am I going to instead concentrate on stuff that's going to be happy and helpful moving forward? Live the best life of the time you have left.
Agreed. Yeah. Yep.
And that's just working on getting better at working on little things that annoy you and stuff. It's like you're allowing, like, this stuff doesn't annoy you. You're choosing to let this thing annoy you.
Yeah.
Everything's a choice, how you respond to stuff. And yeah, there's some biological components, but you can work on them. You can work on those responses.
Yeah.
Not let that stuff affect you as much.
Being annoyed. Yeah. Being annoyed might be an knee-jerk reaction, but allowing yourself to stay annoyed is your choice. I definitely.
Yeah. If you're annoyed, you have to practice that. I think is like recognizing your emotions and what causes them. So
yeah,
what your triggers are, and then you can learn how to say, okay, no, I realize that just annoyed me. I'm not going to sit here and fume about being annoyed about this thing. I'm going to take an actionable response and say, all right, fine, that thing happened. I'm annoyed, and work it out or move on from that. And take control of the situation in that way, as opposed to just sitting there and fuming about it and being more agitated or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, I agree. Anything else that you wish to contribute for this mental health minute?
I think that was my.
Yeah, I think that's a good small little encapsulated one. So yeah, and I'm sure we'll be talking more on this.
It's a big one because it's not just. I mean, it involves a lot. There's a lot there. It's just any negative emotion or thought process or whatever that you have that's taking up your time or energy or obstructing you in some way. That's huge.
Yeah.
Once you learn the processes of being able to identify and not just the past things, but how you react currently to things as well. Be able to stop yourself, be able to stop those things in their tracks, redirect them, whatever, or deal with it, let it go, move on, and stop having knee-jerk reactions that run out of control.
Yeah. We'll definitely. There's definitely going to be more to this, right? But it is funny. I just, I keep hearing it just in these things. It's like, I want you to do this without judgment. Hey, don't take my judgment away from me. It's one of my favorite parts about myself.
I was just thinking, I guess that's kind of plays into it in a way. There's this whole thing in the United States, especially. I think there's other places as well, but very prevalent in the United States, with like the me, just me. I'm special. How dare you do this thing? Like people like going crazy because they couldn't get their order at McDonald's and throwing a fit, and like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, you never like. I don't think you ever see that in South Korea, like with the coronavirus thing and like people being pissed that they should be wearing a mask. They're like, you're taking away our freedoms. You're oppressing us by trying to make us wear masks and stuff. It's like, this is a good thing. Like, this isn't a bad thing. You don't understand what terrorism is if you think this is terrorism. You don't understand what a tyrant is if you think that this is tyranny.
Yeah.
Trevor, you don't understand what your freedoms or your country are if you think that this is violating.
Yeah. You've obviously never had a real infraction of civil liberties if you think this is one.
Yeah. And so in South Korea, they didn't have problems with that. There was no like panic buying and stuff. They never had problems with running with shortages on anything.
Well, Trevor Noah is like, he's like, I got to tell you, I can't understand this. I have a different perspective. He's like, so your guys' greatest fear right now is that you're not going to be able to wipe your ass, right? You're in the room that has a shower. So while it might not be your first choice, this isn't going to be the deal breaker that's going to make everything collapse. You being able to, and he says, maybe I'm telling you this because I've lived without toilet paper, and so this isn't speculation for me. And it's just like, yeah, it is kind of funny that what we're afraid of is that we're not going to be able to wipe our ass.
Yeah, one of the number one panic buys. It's got to be like the epitome of a panic buy.
Yeah, I mean, certainly that's what we
buying
saw
toilet
here.
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I saw somebody that posted a thing about it, that there was a King of the Hill episode where there was some outbreak of something, and what did everybody do? They went down to the Costco and everybody was buying toilet paper. And it was like, gosh, man, you nailed that about 15 years early or 20 years early.
Then you get the people that are profiteering off that, buying all of that stuff up to try to sell on eBay at a ridiculous upsell.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I told you about the guy that was in, I think it was in Australia. Somebody came and tried to return a ton of, I believe, toilet paper towels, but hand sanitizer, I think. And the manager was like,
fuck you.
Fuck you. Nope. Not going to do it. Enjoy that.
Yeah. No.
And
yeah.
the reason he was ended up being the reason he was trying to return it is because his Amazon got shut down on him because he got caught trying to sell this stuff.
Yeah. Yep, that's interesting.
But anyway.
Yeah, so we didn't actually get to talk about So I Married a Master Murder, surprisingly enough. So I'll leave that up there. We'll have to revisit that because I would be interested in everybody's thoughts about it. But you say that you need to go, and we are at probably like 2:15 or 2:25. Man, time goes fast when I'm chatting with you.
Barnard Hughes and what else he had been in.
Yeah, and that was the guy that was in the Merlin or the Mr. Merlin show.
Yeah, Mr. Merlin. He's been in a ton of stuff. He's got 105 credits as an actor.
He's just like a well-known character actor kind of guy, right? Or a visually recognizable character actor.
He's a well-known actor. Yeah. He's very recognizable.
Was there anything that jumped out that you...
He played in Sister Act. Well, Sister Act 2, he played Father Maurice. So if you've seen Sister Act 2 from that. Apparently he was on 51 episodes of Blossom. He was a main character on Blossom, apparently.
You know what? I think that he was the grandfather. I think he might have been Blossom's grandfather.
Huh. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I don't remember much about Blossom. I know I watched it. I remember Joey Lawrence. And,
whoa.
That's about it.
You're welcome. Did you like that? I gave you a little whoa. Little whoa.
Whoa.
He made an entire career out of whoa. Didn't he do music after Blossom? Didn't Joey Lawrence do a song? Isn't there a Joey Lawrence song out there?
Yeah, he was a singer. He had his own series with his two younger brothers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What is it called? The Lawrence Brothers or?
I don't know what it's called. I think it was called Joey, and Joey.
I know. It's not called. His youngest brother's name, Matt, is the middle one. Matt was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Doubtfire.
Oh, okay. I had to say I get those confused with the Hansons too, the Lawrences.
The Lost Boys. He was the grandfather in the Lost Boys.
Yeah, he was. That's right.
Barnard Hughes.
Yeah. Funny, bringing it back to the Lost Boys. Well done, sir. I don't think we can ask for a better callback to that than that. So that's cool. All right. Well, Randy, I think we're going to go ahead and head out of here and remind everybody tomorrow we got our Johnny Q Jukebox. I'll probably be on. Well, I don't know. Actually, I think I'm going to try to get on to doing some video editing, so I probably won't hop back on. But tomorrow we'll be on, and we'll have probably a long show tomorrow. Probably look to do 3-4 hours tomorrow, starting at noon Eastern. We'll have our Johnny Q Jukebox in, so we'll have lots of interesting movie and TV and movie sound clips that'll be on random. And hopefully we can get to, I think we can probably get to where we can finish these tomorrow. So we will look to work on our tiles some more. Anything else, Randy, that you wish to discuss before we part?
No, that's today. I need to get moving.
Right on. And hopefully sometime soon we'll look to play some more Rocket League. Because I look to being able to play a session where I don't feel completely befuddled. And that's the way I felt.
Gonna think you'll be able to play this weekend?
I might, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on this weekend, but yeah, Probably very likely.
So I'll be looking to play sometime this weekend at least. So.
Yeah, and then also I have to figure out, man. We gotta figure out something for birthdays. You and I have a birthday this month, and
yeah, I got some stuff for you.
Aw. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to do a social distance party or something, a remote gaming session. I don't know, something, right? Got to do something. And it sucks too because our birthdays are on Friday this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have
at least we'll have to play some Rocket League or something.
Well, yeah,
we'll hang out one way or another.
Yeah, one way or another. But yeah, we'll figure something out. But yeah, so that's just kind of what I got going in my mind. So let's kick some ideas around maybe this week. So
cool.
But yeah, anyways. All right, well, I'll chat with you guys. Thanks, Mr. Mustard, for being on. We appreciate everybody that's hopped in and out today. So we got another viewer, Commander Root Lurks, Need Him, Coxic, Streamlabs, Thicker, Tresino. So thanks everybody that's hopped in and all the people that we've had recently that's followed. We're at 33. So we're 17 more to that first 50 milestone. So we're going to keep on trucking with that. And yeah, I think that's about it. So anything else, Randy, before we leave with the doctor's promise?
Just love yourselves and love one another.
Right on.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yep. So thanks everybody. You timed out. Nice. Yeah, thanks everybody. And we will leave you with the doctor's promise, which is something that we think is worthwhile to aspire to, which is never cowardly, never cruel, never give up, never give in. Thanks everybody. We will talk with you very, 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 very soon. And let's hear some of that funky outro music. Bye.